Hi everybody, this is Maureen Wong for Your Next Stamp. Today I have for you what I am calling a stair-step surprise easel card, and what it is you can see that it has the stair-step element in the front, and then it also converts into an easel card. And then the surprise is that there is this little panel in here that you put your card behind, and it actually says a different greeting, and it has two more gingerbread people. And that's kind of hard to see, so I'll have some pictures, still pictures for you to see that effect. Okay, first we have the card closed and flat, and next we have the card open with the stair step portion tucked behind the surprise element, and here it is from another angle so you can see it just a little bit better. That effect. But I wanted to go briefly over how I did this card. I'm not doing a start to finish on this because it is really long and involved, but I am going to highlight some of the measurements and how I put everything together. So let's get started. Here is a diagram first of all, and let me zoom in a little bit on that. You're going to be using a whole piece of cardstock of the base cardstock. I usually use white because none of it's really going to show, plus a little extra piece. So first you get your 8.5 by 11 cardstock. Actually, let me zoom out. You get your 8.5 by 11 cardstock and you cut it at 4 1/4 the long way. So you have two pieces that are 4 1/4 by 11. And then the first one, let me show you my little hand-drawn diagram. You're going to score at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. And then your second piece you're going to score at 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 3/4, and then 5 1/2. So I've done all the scoring, and you can see here this is the first piece that's scored at 2 3/4 by 5 1/2, and this is a basic easel fold. And then the second one is, I don't know if anybody's done this before, but I just made up these measurements of 1 inch and 2 inches, and then 3 3/4 and 5 1/2. And then you can see that is the stair step element. And then you're also going to need an extra piece of white cardstock that is 4 1/4 inches wide by 2 inches tall, and then I've scored that right in the middle at 1 inch. And we're going to go ahead and fold that, and this is going to be your little surprise element on the inside. So basically what you do is you take your stair step element and you go ahead and decorate it. And what I did for this one, you can see I just put a full piece of pattern paper on the back, and then here I used the Your Next Stamp gingerbread house die set for the house, the snow, the windows, the wreath, the bow, the lollipops, and for the little snowy walk up to the house. And then of course this is not showing, so the next panel I put a piece of pattern paper across the whole thing. I put another snowy walk up to the house, and then for these gingerbread people I used the Your Next Stamp Sweet Holiday Greeting Set. You can see there's the larger gingerbread woman and larger gingerbread man. And what I did with those was I did the white outline embossing method that I showed in another video, and I left their eyes and mouth black because that's the way I prefer to do my white embossing outline people. And then of course this is blank because that doesn't show, and then on this very front piece I put another piece of pattern paper to fit, and then I stamped the words From All of Us and embossed it in white, and that is from the Your Next Stamp Smiley Happy Critter Crew set 4 From All of Us. And then I took the surprise element, I covered it with pattern paper, you can see here, and then I added 2 little gingerbread people, and again that is from the Sweet Holiday Greeting set with the matching dies. There's the little gingerbread girl and the little gingerbread boy, and again I did the same white embossing technique, leaving their eyes and mouths black. And then I white embossed the Sweet Holiday Greetings, which is also from the Sweet Holiday Greetings set, and that is the surprise element. So how you put this whole thing together might seem a little complicated, but it's actually not really that bad. So what you do is you take your card base, which is the Easel base, and you're going to put adhesive on just the bottom half. And you're going to want to use more adhesive than this to make sure everything sticks together, but I'm just showing you for the sake of this, just for the sake of showing you how it all puts together. And then what you do is go ahead, and what I like to do actually is, you see how the adhesive is down here and then there's nothing up here. I actually like to take my card, and you're going to take the full 5.5 inch long piece by 4 1/4 piece, and I usually like to line it up with this top part that's not sticky and make sure that the card is all lined up correctly, and then press it down onto the part that has the adhesive, and that way I can make sure it's really aligned nicely to when the card is closed. And this is going to be how your card looks closed, and then you open it up and you have your easel element like that. And then for the surprise portion, you can pick pretty much any place inside the card that you want to put it. I originally had it at the very end of the card, but I noticed that when I did my easel, it was really too far. The large panel was kind of tilting really far back, and I didn't really like that. So what I did instead, and let me show you the finished card, what I did instead was I put it up here, and this is actually 3 inches. And the only reason why I made it 3 inches is because I had cut this pattern paper panel to go inside, to cover the whole inside, and there was this Santa element on the pattern paper, and I didn't want to chop his head off or anything like that. So I went past his head and just evened it off at 3 inches and cut the pattern paper at 3 inches from the bottom. And then what you go ahead and do is you put in the top piece first of the remaining pattern paper. So you would stick that in, and then you take your little fold, and originally what I did was I had the fold like this, but the card is kind of heavy, the stair step portion is kind of heavy, and it tends to push this down. So what you're going to want to do instead is adhere it like this. So let me show you. You put your adhesive, and this is your piece. You put the adhesive on the bottom, and then when you have your pattern paper in here, you line this up with the bottom of the pattern paper, like so. You would line it up like this, and you stick that down, lining this folded edge up with the bottom of the pattern paper. And so I'm just going to stick that in somewhere that looks right. And you want to make sure that's straight and lined up with the edges, and then stick that down. And then I took this remaining piece of pattern paper and stuck it over this, and so that's going to hide that little extra piece of cardstock that's serving as your lever. And when you do it this way, this piece naturally wants to stay down. So when you put your easel and your stair step in that, behind that, it's gonna want to hold it up and not fold forward, because that's not the way that the cardstock wants to go. So what you do is you push all of these folds down really well with your bone folder, and then when you actually do your finished card, everything will sit nicely. You can see from the side here, it has a lot more weight with all of the decorations on it, and so it sits really nicely. Again, here is the finished look, and then you can go ahead and write a message to your recipient here, or if you want to, you could actually write it back here, and then it will be hidden when your recipient goes to display this. So I hope that helped you with my, let me see if I can get it right, Stair Step Surprise Easel card, which is what I'm calling it. I'm sure it's probably been done before, but I haven't seen it, so that's just what I'm calling my version here. And if you have any questions, please let me know and I'll try and help you. And if not, I'll see you over at yournextstamp.com. Thank you very much for watching.